Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Now on Fox 50, 5 crashes overnight, and at least 2 people are dead and several injured after those crashes across the area. From Durham, Wake, Johnson, and Nash counties, we are tracking all of them from the overnight hours.
And a cold front swept through this morning early with some showers. Now we're starting to see clearing skies. I'll show you how warm it will be this afternoon.
And a race still undecided. The first court hearing today in the case between 2 state Supreme Court justice hopefuls 3 months post-election night. That is one of many stories we have for you on your Friday morning that we're tracking. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Lemongood. What day is it again?
It's Friday.
It's Friday. Happy about it. And it's going to be a gorgeous day outside, and means you have to get out and enjoy it. Of course, we've got meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking that for you. And downtown Raleigh looking pretty nice out.
It is. It feels nice out there, too. Temperatures are in the 50s and low 60s. So you don't need a heavy jacket. Seeing people walking around with some sweaters and some jackets, but no real heavy coat. You can see down the street, down Fayetteville Street, down toward Memorial Auditorium. Everything looks good. It's a little bit damp from some of the rain that we saw overnight last night, but the streets are drying out fast with all that sunshine. 54 in Lewisburg, 63 Fayetteville, 51 South Hill, 60 degrees in Goldsboro. And temperatures will just keep on climbing with all this sunshine. Today will be a great day to spend some time outside. Lunchtime, mid-60s. We'll see highs near 70 this afternoon. Totally different pattern for Saturday, but we do rebound on Sunday. I'll walk you through the weekend forecast coming up.
All right, we've got some breaking news that we've been following. In terms of North Raleigh, we're getting reports that there's some type of crash on Litchford Road that's going to shut down that road in both directions. We're checking on that, and as soon as I know more information, I'll let you know. Also, we have a crew on our way to the scene of a motorcycle crash on Trinity Road and Youth Center Drive. Again, we're working to find out how either of these will affect your morning commute. As soon as I know, you will know. But one thing that's affecting your morning commute is in the northern loop of the Beltline. This crash on 440 at Capitol Boulevard. You see the delays it's causing all the way back almost to the I-440, I-87 interchange right there. So it's going to take you about a 3 to 5 minute delay as we see the usual slowdowns that we're seeing on the southern loop of the Beltline. Here's what it looks like on the northern loop, I-440 and Ridge Road. Once you get past that crash site, it's clear sailing once you get to Ridge Road. But on the southern loop, this is what we're looking at. Some bumper-to-bumper traffic there. Those are the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. As far as the other major routes coming into the capital city, you're just looking at a 7-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. So, I mean, none of that is going to make you too late. Most of the major routes in the Bull City are free and clear, but 885 continues to be a trouble spot. In and out of Durham this morning, you're looking at a 6-minute delay in either directions. 101.5 HD3, tune us in. We'll keep you updated all morning long.
All right, thanks, Ken. And we're also monitoring at least 5 other crashes across the viewing area. In the last 2 hours, Durham police confirmed a deadly crash at the intersection of South Miami Boulevard and NC 54. It happened shortly before 10 o'clock last night. Investigators say a car turning onto South Miami Boulevard was hit by a motorcycle driven by 29-year-old Travis Barber, who did not survive that crash.
A man was killed in a crash in Nash County, and this happened just before 12:30 this morning on Highway 264. That's not far from the town of Bailey, if you're familiar. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows this on your screen, a red vehicle with damage to its side, and it's resting near the tree line. Investigators say that only one person was in the vehicle, and they say they do not believe the driver was impaired.
Today, the effort to resolve this still undecided state Supreme Court election is moving forward. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from Wake County Superior Court this morning. And Kelsey, attorneys for both sides will be making their case today.
Yes, Michelle, today we could be one step closer to finding out who will take that seat on the state Supreme Court. Now, we first told you about this case being in federal court late last month, and this morning a trial will start in state court. Republican Jefferson Griffin is challenging the November election results. This after he lost the race by 734 votes against Democratic incumbent Justice Allison Riggs. That result has been confirmed through multiple recounts. However, Griffin claims the state should have never counted more than 60,000 ballots. He's requesting to throw them out. Most of those ballots are from people who voted by mail, did early voting, or voted while overseas. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran says there are a few options if this isn't handled in federal court. The case could go to the State Board of Elections again, or it could go through the state court's appeal process, or even end up back in federal court. So if you are concerned that your vote is one of the ones that's being challenged, you can go to our website, WRAL.com. There you can find out information about how to track down that data and some options for what you can do next. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And WRAL is working to get more information about a motorcyclist who was severely injured in a crash with a car in North Raleigh. That happened on Falls of Noose Road near Quail Ridge Road just before 11 o'clock last night. What you're seeing here is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker showing police with the road shut down. We are making calls to learn more about what caused that crash and the extent of the person's injuries. Meanwhile, in Johnston County this morning, a driver hit an abandoned car on US 70 near Wilson's Mills. Officials on the scene say the driver wasn't seriously hurt because he was wearing a seatbelt. The abandoned vehicle was on the shoulder of the road and troopers tagged it to be towed.
And right now, police in Goldsboro are investigating a man's death. Officers responded to a home on South John Street after 7:30 last night. They found 65-year-old Donnell Hinton inside. EMS personnel pronounced him dead. Investigators are trying to learn more about what happened to him. And today, the health plan for state workers is expected to undergo major changes because of rising costs. The governing board of the state health plan is expected to give State Treasurer Brad Briner the go-ahead to overhaul pricing. Briner is advocating for adjusting insurance premiums based on employee pay. That would make them more affordable for state employees who earn less, while those who make more would pay more. The health plan is projected to run a deficit of more than $500 million in the next fiscal year. The board meets at 9:30 this morning.
Today, we expect a ruling in a case that could affect the sentences of dozens of death row inmates in North Carolina. A judge in Johnston County is expected to issue a ruling today in the case of Hassan Bakot. He was convicted of murder in 2009 because a teenager was shot and killed during a robbery. He was sentenced to death row, but his attorneys argue that racism tainted the trial. Governor Roy Cooper commuted Bakot's sentence on his last day in office. However, if the judge rules in Bakot's favor, it could bring the sentences of dozens of others into question. The decision is expected at 10 o'clock this morning, and we will be in the courtroom when that decision is issued. Make sure you tune into our newscast from 4 to 7:30 this evening for updates and an analysis of the judge's ruling.
And we are trying to learn more this morning about this crash. A car went off Capitol Boulevard into a creek. This happened near the Wade Avenue exit about 11 o'clock last night. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as police searched the area around the car. Police have not said if anyone was injured or if any charges will be filed.
New this morning, the International Criminal Court is condemning sanctions against it from the Trump administration. It says it will continue its work. Trump signed an executive order yesterday issuing the sanctions. It's an effort to punish the ICC for issuing warrants last year. Those were seeking the arrest of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister. Charges included the war crimes and crimes against humanity for Israel's military actions in Gaza. The ICC also sought the arrests of top Hamas leaders.
The deadline for federal workers to accept a buyout from the Trump administration is on pause. You were looking live at the U.S. Capitol this morning. A federal judge issued the ruling last night. It'll allow for legal proceedings about the offer to play out. Before the pause, federal workers were told they had until midnight last night to decide whether to accept the deal. Several unions filed a lawsuit seeking the temporary block.
North Carolina's Attorney General launched an investigation into the PowerSchool data breach. That breach affected millions of teachers and students. The company makes software every North Carolina public school uses, and a worldwide breach in December is blamed for exposing personal information of teachers and parents in our area. Every school in the state was affected, and more than a month later, families are just now being notified, including those in Wake County.
In the next 30 minutes, we'll get our first indicator of how the U.S. job market is performing in 2025. The Bureau of Labor Statistics will release the January jobs report at 8:30 this morning. Economists expect it'll show job gains remain fairly solid. Jobs have gone up for 48 consecutive months. The economy also added 2.2 million jobs last year.
Your time is 8:09. Sick on a cruise ship. The outbreak that's gotten nearly 90 people sick aboard a Royal Caribbean boat, and the steps crew members have taken to stop the spread.
Plus, dangerous roads in Raleigh. Why DOT crews say the traffic lines are faded on the Beltline as drivers express frustration.
And here's a great place to be today, this afternoon. Look at all the sunshine here at downtown Cary Park. Whatever park is in your neighborhood would be a great place to enjoy our warm temperatures before it turns a lot colder tomorrow. I'll show you coming up.
Welcome back on your Friday morning as the clock just hit 8:13. We're looking live over Durham. Beautiful sunny skies. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a look around town and how we're feeling right now.
Nice to see these clear skies. We really struggled to see much clearing yesterday and it kept our temperatures down a little bit. But we're already starting really mild this morning. You don't need a heavy winter coat. We still have some clearing happening in Fayetteville. We had a cold front sweep through rather quickly with some showers, and we're already seeing clearing around Apex, Raleigh, and Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. You'll likely walk out the door in the next hour or so to see some damp streets, but it shouldn't be anything that causes any problems. There's a look at that front sliding southward down toward the coast and toward South Carolina. And behind it, we're seeing some nice dry air filling in. And so that's why we're seeing the clear skies. But again, it did bring just a little bit of light patchy rain overnight last night. So we'll jump on out there and take a look at our weekend. Today looks beautiful with a high of 70 degrees. And then we're going to see that same pattern that we've seen this week where it's back and forth, back and forth. Saturday will be the day that we get back into a northeasterly wind. It will cool us back into the low 50s for highs, bring us a lot of cloud cover and potentially a little drizzle. And then it moves right back out on Sunday. The warm air rolls back in. In the afternoon, we'll see a high of 74, which is close to a record high. This is a look at Saturday or overnight tonight around midnight into very early Saturday morning. You can see these light showers that are showing up here. That's out of here really by 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Shouldn't be anything that causes any real issues, but a few sprinkles are certainly not out of the question on Saturday. As we get into the late afternoon, we may begin to see some clearing, and that sets us up for a really nice day on Sunday. But it doesn't last long. Here's what happens next week. We get a steady storm track that's over the southeast, and that will keep the rain going all the way through Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have rain in the forecast. For Saturday, it's only 20%, but it's 40 to 50% Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We take a look at the rainfall potential for us for those days, and we're looking at a chance for 1.5 to 2 inches, and it is much needed rainfall. We are, of course, in a moderate drought. We need that rain, but it will be unpleasant Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with those cooler temperatures. Ken?
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We've got a couple of incidents we're following right now. We're getting reports of a motorcycle crash on Trinity Road and Youth Center Drive. We've got a crew on the way to that scene. As soon as we know any new information, we'll let you know. Here's another traffic alert to bring your attention to this crash on Litchford Road in the northbound lane near Coxendale Drive. It's causing major delays in both directions, as you can see. This is just north of 540. We hear from Raleigh Police that this could be a serious incident for the next several hours. We'll keep an eye on it and let you know how much that will affect your morning commute. This is affecting your morning commute, particularly on the northern loop of the Beltline. This is a crash on I-440 westbound, coming off of those southbound lanes of Capitol Boulevard. You can see the huge delays it's causing there. As we widen out the view, the delays stretch all the way back almost to Newbern Avenue. At one point, it was stretching all the way back to I-440 and I-87 interchange, but things are getting a little better. Things are getting a little better on the southern loop of the Beltline as well. So let's give you a look at what the northern loop of the Beltline looks like. I-440 and Ridge Road. Once you get past that crash, it's flowing nicely in both directions. On the southern loop, here's what we got. These are I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. So keep that in mind as you get ready to head out.
All right, thanks, Ken. And sticking with the roads, drivers on I-440 in Raleigh, they tell us it's impossible to see the paint markings in the lanes. They say the faded lines in some places are creating a dangerous situation. Hundreds of people have taken to social media to express frustrations. One person posted, "I have terrible astigmatism due to a corneal injury I got in a car accident, and in the rain, all the lights reflecting on the road make it nearly impossible to drive." We have reached out to the DOT team to learn what it's doing to address the problem. We're told they are waiting for a perfect stretch of weather to repaint the lines.
We've had some snow. We've had weather conditions that weren't really the best for anything staying down on the road for any length of time. They were temporary and they need restriped, which we are going to get to as soon as we can.
And we've also asked if the current condition of the lines has played a role in any crashes. DOT says it would take months before that data is ready.
A Raleigh man is accused of stalking women by using electronic tracking devices, including an Apple AirTag. Mawende Bull was arrested last month, and he's accused of tracking at least 3 different women without them knowing in Cary and Durham. He's accused of putting an Apple AirTag on at least one of those women's cars. We talked with a cybersecurity expert about how Apple is addressing the risks of being tracked unknowingly.
If they're a company that is actually focused on amazing technology, beautiful technology, but also privacy, then this is something they absolutely had to get right.
Apple added protective features after a class action lawsuit in 2022. That includes a notification sent to phones that are traveling with an item not registered to their account. It also released an app for Android users called Tracker Detect.
Right now in the Windy City, brand new vehicles are making their debut. The 2025 Chicago Auto Show happening right now. Transportation expert Mike Caudill is live in Chicago with your first look at some of the new vehicles taking center stage this year. Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning. And you are correct. The auto show season is upon us. And you know what? It's great to get down to the auto show, especially in the winter, despite the incredible weather right now you're having down there in Raleigh. But hybrids are the big discussion point here in Chicago. We've been talking a lot about electrics. Now it's about hybrids. This right here is the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester hybrid. Now in its 6th generation, it gets 40% better fuel economy than the regular Forester that's on the road. You're looking at about 581 miles of range with this vehicle, so on a tank of gas. And they took the covers off this yesterday as well. This is the all-new Wilderness package. You're going to get higher ground clearance. It's all about off-roading. And then 800 pounds up on top of this vehicle for storage and compactability. It's great. So also thinking about as well, electric vehicles here at the show, you've got the Jeep Wagoneer. This is the S. They launched the limited edition. I just got to throw some numbers at you because it's insane. A 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds in an SUV.
Wow.
This thing is stunning. It's all about Wagoneer luxury on the inside. It is electric, so it has a range of about 300 miles. But according to J.D. Powers, the daily commute for an average person in the market is about 37 miles. And this thing will be coming to market here very soon. I love the way they've designed this vehicle. All right, check this out. We're talking about a new engine for the Ram HD. This is a new 6.7-liter turbo Cummins diesel. I'll tell you why it makes sense. Because those that are in the blue-collar market, they're towing. You're going to have 36,000 pounds of towing capacity with 430 horsepower under the hood of this truck. It's all about performance with this. By the way, they even threw 0 to 60 numbers at us. This truck will hit the 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds. But again, it's all about towing capacity with a starting price around $47,000. Ram getting into the electric vehicle market. This one's an extended range electric vehicle, which means it has an onboard generator. So it has 150 miles of pure electric, but just under 700 miles of total range with this truck. Look at the interior. It's all about luxury on the inside of this truck. Really looking forward to seeing this come to the market because it's a real truck with 14,000 pounds of towing capacity. And I'll close it out with these two. Honda Civic, right? We're talking about one of the best-selling vehicles in America. Just took home the award for North American Car of the Year. There's the coveted seal on the side. You're looking at about 50 miles per gallon, 200 horsepower to the hood, but the price is something I love. $28,000 for a really cool vehicle with awesome styling. And Honda showing a glimpse of the future. This is their Zero SUV and their Zero Saloon. Really cool futuristic look.
Wow.
It's all about autonomous and hands-free driving, Michelle. Lots of great news here in Chicago at the auto show, coming to dealerships near you very soon.
Some beautiful cars, 50 miles to the gallon. That is also amazing. That'll stick out to a lot of people.
It sure will.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Have a great time.
Thank you.
More than 90 people got sick while on an ocean getaway. We're talking about dozens of passengers and 2 crew members suffering from gastrointestinal issues on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. The CDC was first contacted on Tuesday about this, and they're still trying to confirm what people actually did to make themselves sick. The passengers were isolated from the rest of the ship, which will return to Florida tomorrow.
A fiery scene was at a commuter rail line near Philadelphia. Take a look at this. A large fire on the line spread to a train, and that caused it to burst into flames. The fire broke out last night near a station about 15 miles southwest of Philadelphia. A spokesperson for the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transit Authority says everyone on that train got off safely. Amtrak was forced to suspend services in the area because of the fire.
Project 2025 co-author Russell Vought has been confirmed to lead the Office of Management and Budget. The Senate voted along party lines 53-47 to confirm him. The vote comes after Senate Democrats held 30 hours of speeches on the Senate floor in protest of the nomination.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, Sky 5 is flying over a crash site in Raleigh. This is on Trinity Road and U Center Drive, not far from the State Fairgrounds. And what we're seeing from this aerial view is a truck on Trinity Road. You see the windshield shattered there, and then there is a bicycle on the side of the road. And so as far as traffic impacts, traffic is moving by, but right now authorities are there investigating. We're trying to find out if anyone was injured in this near the State Fairgrounds. We'll be back after this.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Time is 8:26. I'm Chris Lovingood. We do want to get you a check on your weekend forecast to start today with Elizabeth Gardner.
We have cleared out nicely across much of the region. Durham and Raleigh both seeing sunshine and temperatures in the upper 50s right now. Fayetteville in the process of clearing. We had a front that moved from northwest to southeast, and so we're still seeing a little bit of lingering impact there in Fayetteville. But skies will be clearing there quickly. Already it is 63 degrees. So walking the dog this morning feels pretty comfortable. We'll see a noontime temperature in the mid 60s and a high of around 70 degrees this afternoon. We're going to flip-flop everything for tomorrow. We're looking at highs in the 50s with some cloudy skies and sprinkles, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, we're going to keep it outside. Give our viewers a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us, moving away at a slow, steady clip, but at least traffic is moving. In terms of the other major routes coming into the capital city, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. Nothing that's going to really make you late this morning. In terms of the Bull City, all the major routes are basically free and clear at this hour. I'll have an update on your morning commute at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
A man is dead after a crash in Nash County. This happened just before 12:30 this morning on Highway 264. It's not too far from Bailey. Video shows a red vehicle with damage to the side sitting near the tree line there. Investigators say one person was in the vehicle. Today, the first trial court hearing in the unresolved state Supreme Court election is happening. Democrat Justice Allison Riggs received 700 more votes than Republican Jefferson Griffin. He is suing, arguing that more than 60,000 people who cast ballots should not have been allowed to vote. Next on Fox 50, we are following up on 3 crashes and several people who were injured in over the overnight hours. And up next on Today, Super Bowl greatest hits to serve on game day.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We're following some breaking news. A crash in northern Wake County on Litchford Road. We've got a power pole down. Let you know what's happened, and we'll have a live report coming up.
And we're tracking several more crashes from Wake, Durham, Nash, and Johnston counties. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker is staying on top of these accidents this morning and overnight. What we know about the 2 people killed and others hurt.
And a cold front slipped past our area pretty rapidly this morning, but with some rain behind it, we are clearing nicely. I'll show you how much warmer we'll see the air behind the front.
Plus, Super Bowl weekend arrives in NOLA. As 100,000 people are entering the city there, thousands of law enforcement officers will be among them. The extra precautions officials are taking to make sure that everyone is safe. Especially have to do that after that terrorist attack there. People just want to have a nice, fun time, and so law enforcement's there to make sure that happens.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us this morning on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. A lot of you might have Super Bowl plans this weekend. And, you know, for Saturday, it's going to be okay. But Super Bowl Sunday, Elizabeth, it's going to be gorgeous.
It really is going to be gorgeous. Yeah, I think some people are going to take their TVs outside, or maybe the first part of the party's outside, and then, you know, they'll come on in. A live look at Durham right now, looking gorgeous. We're seeing nothing but sunshine here. Temperature temperatures have started on the mild side this morning. Right now in the Triangle, it is 58 degrees. We have a westerly wind, which is typically a warming type pattern for us. 63 in Fayetteville, 62 Goldsboro, 52 in South Hill, and 50 up around Roxborough. But temperatures are 15 to 20 degrees warmer already than they were yesterday, and that should allow us to really bump on up to about 70 degrees this afternoon. Now, tomorrow will be a whole nother story. We'll see another front that brings us back down into the chilly air for Saturday with a few sprinkles, and I'll show you a very active pattern that'll continue into next week. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, a couple of incidents that we've been monitoring. First of all, that crash involving a motorcycle on Trinity Road and Youth Center Drive. It's off to the shoulder of the road right now, not causing any problems, but we're working to figure out exactly how many injuries that occurred in that accident, because it involved a truck and a bicycle as well. The other incident we're following is a crash on Litchford Road. This is in northbound lane, just north of 540, causing some delays in the area a little while ago. That's where we find Nick Perlin in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Nick, set the scene for us.
Well, Ken, this stretch of Litchford Road right now is actually closed. They have it taped off further back down this way, and they have crime scene tape here. And this is why, because of this car here. Looks like it crashed into an orange car in this intersection. And you can see here it smashed this pole and even toppled the pole, causing damage to the front of the car. I want to get you to some video from Sky 5. This is live footage of Sky 5, and you can see Litchford Road here. It is blocked off on both ends. They are forcing all drivers to make a U-turn and leave, so first responders can can tow these cars out of the way and reopen the road. So if you're coming down this area of Litchford Road, it is closed. They will make you turn around. Ken, they do have tow trucks here, hoping that they're going to try to reopen this stretch of the road soon. In the meantime, is there any other trouble spots that you're seeing in and around the area?
Absolutely. But before we leave this incident, this is where Nick is right now, near Corksondale Drive, and they're turning people around right there. I-540, if you're on Litchford Road, just 540 might be your alternate route in terms of getting around it. The other issues we're following really is this crash that's happened for the last hour and a half. So right here on I-40, the westbound lane there, US 64, the exit ramp. We're not seeing any delays in the area there on the southern loop of the Beltline, but just be mindful of that as you're making your way there. This is the other issue that we've been following all morning here at 440 in the westbound lane at Capitol Boulevard. You can see the delays it's causing right there. Right now on the northern loop with the Beltline, once you get past that crash near Capitol Boulevard, that exit ramp, it's clear sailing in those westbound lanes moving away from us. In terms of the other major routes coming in and out of the capital city, here's what we're looking at: a 5-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. And over in Durham, very little to no delays whatsoever reported in the Bull City. So if you're getting ready to head out, tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
This morning, we are monitoring at least several more crashes than we were earlier today in the viewing area. At 6 a.m., Durham police confirmed a deadly crash at the intersection of South Miami Boulevard and NC 54. That happened shortly before 10 p.m. last night. Investigators say a car turning onto South Miami Boulevard was hit by a motorcycle driven by a 29-year-old. His name was Travis Barber, who did not survive that crash.
And a man is dead after a crash in Nash County. This happened just before 12:30 this morning on Highway 264, not far from the town of Bailey. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows a red vehicle with damage to the side sitting near the tree line. Investigators say only one person was in the car. They say they do not believe the driver was impaired.
Right now, police in Goldsboro are investigating a man's death. Here's what we know. Officers responded to a home on South John Street after 7:30 last night. That is where they found 65-year-old Donnell Hinton inside. First responders pronounced him dead, and investigators are trying to learn more about what happened to this man. Today, the effort to resolve the still undecided state Supreme Court election is moving forward. We have WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joining us live from the Wake County Supreme Court covering that. Kelsey, attorneys for both sides will be making their cases today.
Yes, Chris, today we could be one step closer to finding out who will take that seat on the state Supreme Court. We first told you about this case being in federal court late last month, and this morning there will be a trial that will start in state court. Republican Jefferson Griffin is challenging the November election results. This after he lost the race by 734 votes against Democratic incumbent Justice Allison Riggs. That result has been confirmed through multiple recounts. However, Griffin claims the state should have never counted more than 60,000 ballots. He's requesting to throw them out. Now, most of those ballots are from people who voted by mail, did early voted, or voted while overseas. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran explains what could happen if this isn't handled in federal court.
It could go back to the state Board of Elections. It could wind its way up through the appeals process in state court. It could go back up to federal courts. There's always the possibility that the U.S. Supreme Court could even look into this.
And if you want to find out if you're one of those people whose votes are being challenged, you can go to our website, WRAL.com. There you will find an FAQ that will have more information about how to track down that data and what some of your options are if you want to move forward. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Two labor groups are suing President Trump. This comes after the administration's move to drastically cut the workforce at the U.S. Agency for International Development, also known as USAID. According to multiple sources, the agency's staff is being slashed to less than 300 essential workers. The suit was filed yesterday in D.C. federal court. It is unclear if the court will issue a ruling before tonight's midnight deadline, when the bulk of USAID's workers are set to go on administrative leave.
We're working to get more information about a motorcyclist who was severely injured in a crash with a car in North Raleigh. This happened on Falls of Neuse Road near Quail Ridge Road just before 11 o'clock last night. You see here, right here on the video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker, that police had the road shut down for quite a while. We are making calls to learn more about what caused that crash and the extent of the person's injuries.
Business experts will look into the economic effects of political uncertainty at a briefing this morning. Experts from Chapel Hill's Keenan Institute will discuss the impact of new policies from the Trump administration and where we might see the greatest effects. Researchers will also look at this morning's employment numbers coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The webinar begins at 9 a.m.
Since 2 o'clock this morning, investigators with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, known as NOAA, have been helping with the investigation into that mid-air collision in D.C. Crews have been conducting a low-altitude flight over the Potomac River to search for remaining debris. Officials are using an aircraft equipped with scanning technology. Essentially, it projects a visible green laser onto the water's surface and reflects any objects that it sees in the water.
And breaking right now in the WRAL Live Center, another plane crash to tell you about. This is video from Brazil, where a small plane went down onto a busy street in the town of Sao Paulo, near its downtown. Authorities say a piece of the plane hit a bus, injuring one woman. They also say a motorcyclist was hit by another piece of wreckage and injured, and then 4 others were taken to the hospital with injuries. From that video, you can see that there was heavy smoke and fire from this plane crash, and it looks like it went down in a pretty populated residential area. We'll keep an eye on this for you here in the Live Center.
Sad situation there. Thanks, Renee. A Wake County Sheriff's deputy killed in the line of duty will be honored for years to come. The Sheriff's Office announced the state will name a bridge in honor of Deputy Ned Bird. A dedication ceremony will come at a later date. Brothers Arturo and Alder Sotelo are charged with killing Deputy Bird in August of 2022. He was found shot and killed after investigating a suspicious truck.
President Trump's executive action on diversity, equity, and inclusion is being felt within the UNC system. The system sent a memo to its network of universities and colleges, which suspends any requirements for students to get a course credit related to DEI. In a letter to the UNC Asheville community, the chancellor says, quote, any student currently enrolled in a spring 2025 course to satisfy a requirement related to diversity intensive courses may elect either to remain enrolled in the course or to withdraw from that course without penalty. The system is responding to an executive order from President Trump. It directs federal agencies to get rid of diversity programs. Actually, last year, the UNC System Board of Governors scrapped its own DEI policy, leading to about 59 job cuts and redirecting $17 million in funding.
The Wake County Animal Center will be closed today because animals came down with an illness. The center says 3 dogs have died from strep zoo. It's a respiratory infection. It'll be closed for at least 30 days so they can contain the outbreak. Right now, nearly 300 animals are at the center. There will be no adoptions or surrenders while the facility is closed.
More than 100,000 people are starting to pour into New Orleans for Super Bowl Sunday. We're giving you a live look this morning at the Caesars Superdome, where the game kicks off in just a couple of days. And just weeks after a terrorist attack that killed 14 people and injured dozens others on Bourbon Street, well, city leaders there are saying that they're confident people will be safe. Federal agents will circle above New Orleans and along the Mississippi River. In the French Quarter, National Guardsmen will patrol on foot. In all, nearly 3,000 law enforcement personnel will be spread out across the city.
They know where the crowds are, where the crowds aren't, and if anything happens that changes that scenario, then they'll be able to identify that.
And canines will go through the Superdome, making sure that all the seats are checked. New Orleans police also say at night, key intersections leading to Bourbon Street will be barricaded.
Barnyard problems, bird flu causing problems for all types of farmers. How the illness is impacting business beyond egg prices.
And we've got all your best bets happening this weekend, including Jim Gaffigan in town. We'll help you make the most of what things are happening in our Out and About section.
Taking a look at 8:45, what's happening outside. We did have a cold front slide across our viewing area this morning. There's a little bit of thunder with that, and at least a report of northern Wake County seeing some hail with that this morning. So it's all over now. We have dry air that's moving in. We still have some rain along that front, but it's well to our south. Look at that. We've cleared out nicely in Apex, looking absolutely beautiful. Our temperatures feel great. It's going to be just a really nice day to be outside. Right now, 58 degrees, so you don't need a heavy winter coat. By lunchtime, mid-60s, and we should top out at around 70 this afternoon. Right now, it's in the low 50s in Roxborough and South Hill, and low to mid 60s for Southern Pines, Fayetteville, and Clinton. So it feels really great out there right now. I'll take another look. This is Chapel Hill. Plenty of people out and about. The streets may still be a little bit damp as you're heading out because of the rain we saw last night, but sunshine will take good care of that. 70 today in Raleigh, 68 in Durham, and 74 degrees in Fayetteville. Cooler as we get through the next few days, though, especially tomorrow. 54 is our normal high. Overnight tonight, we're going to see a cold front drop in and switch our winds again to northeasterly. That's going to bring our temperatures down into the low 50s for tomorrow with cloud cover and some drizzle on and off. So not a great day to be outside tomorrow. But then right now, it looks like everything lifts northward again, bringing the warmth back for Sunday. But then after that, it's going to feel pretty miserable for us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and probably Thursday as well. We take a look at our big change after being very warm on Sunday. We'll see that wind shifting and chilly air pushes in, and it's going to get locked in there for a good bit of next week. Take a look at this. Notice on Monday and on Monday and Tuesday morning, temperatures will likely be in the upper 30s. But closer to the Virginia line, there is a small chance that there could be a little bit of wintry mix. The models have been hinting at it. Right now, it doesn't look like much, but we're watching that. So we go from super Sunday to pretty miserable for a good bit of next week. The one positive is the amount of rain that we could see. We need it. I'll show you how much coming up.
So from comedy to live music, there is a lot happening this weekend in the Triangle. And WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanran is here to help you plan for your weekend. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning.
So first, let's start off with an award-winning comedian in town.
Okay, Jim Gaffigan. He's making history this week by being the first comedian to perform 5 shows at the Durham Performing Arts Center. So a lot going on with him. He has 3 shows left. So if you haven't seen him, you still got time. He's performing tonight, and then he has 2 shows tomorrow. Some tickets are still available. He's being joined by special guest Ted Alexandro.
So a lot happening there. I know a lot of people still love Jim Gaffigan. So if you're looking for live music, there are a few options, including North Carolina's American Aquarium.
Yeah, so we've got some good options. Okay, the band is playing Lincoln Theater tonight and tomorrow. It's part of their big annual road trip to Raleigh. They're being joined by different bands each night. Tickets are $50 in advance and $60 at the door. So you've got that option, but also over at King's in downtown Raleigh is the Great Cover-Up. And that is tonight and tomorrow night. Local bands are performing a variety of cover songs. All the proceeds are going to local nonprofits, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a way to help the community out. And of course, Sunday, it's the big game, but it's also the day for the Geek and Grub Market in Durham.
This is a great family-friendly pick for the weekend. The market is from noon to 5 p.m. over at Durham Armory. It's gaming themed, so all types of video games and board games, over 50 vendors, and admission is free.
You already had me at video games. Come on, Kathy, stop. No, I'm kidding.
This is your market.
It's exactly my kind of event. And for more on these events, just go to WRAL.com and search the keywords Out and About.
Well, bird flu is affecting all North Carolina farmers, not just those with animals. Farmers talked about the outbreak at the Agricultural Development Forum at the state fairgrounds. They say bird flu is driving up egg prices and driving down the price of feed that other farmers produce. Ag Commissioner Steve Troxler says it could be at least a year before prices go back to normal.
The old saying is the cure for $8 corn is $8 corn, because it encourages so much more production that the production drives the price down.
And Troxler says the state continues to do what it can to stay ahead of any further outbreaks.
Rocky Mount police are investigating a deadly shooting. Police responded to a shooting call on North Glendale Drive around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. A 42-year-old man died at that scene, and a second man was also shot, but he was taken to the hospital and is expected to live. Police say multiple shell casings were found at that scene, and anyone with information is asked to contact the Rocky Mount Police Department.
A shocking case of child abuse and murder exposed critical failures in North Carolina's foster care system. It's the focus of our new WRAL documentary, Broken Foster Care in North Carolina. Our WRAL doc team investigated the Avante Devon case, the Fayetteville mother accused of murdering 2 of the 5 kids she adopted, Blake and London Devon. Detectives say she had 9 different aliases.
Did the state fail these kids?
I think that they're county failings.
Someone needs to be held accountable, because Avante Devon is not the only one at fault here.
The documentary also shows the problems and lack of oversight in North Carolina's foster care system. You can watch Broken Foster Care in North Carolina by scanning the QR code on your screen or by going to WRAL.com.
Former Governor Roy Cooper is headed to Harvard. He's accepted a part-time teaching role at the university. Cooper said in a statement that he is considering his political future, but in the meantime, he's working with aspiring public servants.
Amazon may be on its way to becoming the world's largest retailer. Walmart is considered the biggest retailer because of its revenue. This quarter, though, Amazon is expected to surpass Walmart with $187 billion in sales. Walmart is forecast to bring in $180 billion. And although most analysts measure revenue on an annual basis, and Walmart is expected to bring in about $40 million more than Amazon. And we are counting down to Super Bowl 59. 2 days to go until the big game, and Americans are expected to wager a record $1.39 billion on the big game. If you plan to bet on the game, experts say use licensed, reputable sites. Check ncgaming.gov for approved operators. Legit sites like DraftKings and BetMGM display their licenses. WRAL's Keely Arthur spoke with senior security architect Patrick McNeil. He says that you should be cautious about websites. AI makes it easier for scammers to create convincing fakes.
How do you know that you're on the right site?
In many cases, you can't tell. So instead of clicking the link that takes you to a site that looks legitimate, actually go to, NFL.com or, the betting site names directly.
And it can be hard to know if you have been scammed immediately. That's why you should keep watch of your credit card transactions and your bank accounts. They can tip you off to suspicious patterns or purchases. And remember, you can watch the Super Bowl on Fox 50 this Sunday. Kickoff is at 6:30.
Everyone likely has a prediction about who will win the Super Bowl, and that includes members of the animal kingdom. In Montana, zookeepers asked a pair of bear cubs to choose between the Eagles and the Chiefs. They were offered pieces of cake featuring each team, so it was definitely the prediction, not the cake, that got them there. There's no consensus, though. One cub picked the Eagles and the other picked the Chiefs. And at the Honolulu Zoo, an elephant named Vigai picked between 2 watermelons there. And after a bit of a fake out, she stomped the Eagles-themed melon and ate it.
And I think the Eagles are going to give the Chiefs a run for their money. We'll see.
You got to knock the Chiefs down a peg.
You do. All right, before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll be right back.